Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make a Jack-in-the-Box for all of your city building needs. Jack-in-the-Box is an American fast food restaurant, and in this case we have also added a drive-thru. Watch until the very end of the video to see where we place our build in our city. Guys, we don't really have Jack-in-the-Box here in the UK. How would you rank it in terms of other fast food? Like, is it any good? Let me know down in the comments. I'm 100% genuinely curious. This is the amount of space required to make the Jack-in-the-Box. Here are all of the materials that we will use throughout the build. Begin by placing a row of 4 white concrete in a row on the ground. 1, 2, 3, 4. Leave a gap of 3. 1, 2, 3, and then place another row of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We then want to extend backwards that way by 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then extend across the back of the build and join all the way back to the front of the build. We will form a square shape. We then want to remove all of the grass blocks inside of our building and replace the grass blocks with an alternating checkered pattern of polished deep slate and regular deep slate. On each one of the 4 corners of the build, starting with the front left corner, we want to stack 2 black glass blocks, extend them this way and that way, and then place white concrete along the side of the glass, with red concrete on top of the glass and white concrete. We want to do this in all of the other 3 remaining corners. Glass on top of the corner, extend along both sides, white concrete along the sides, and then red concrete along the top. On the front of the build, we are going to extend our white concrete and red concretes an additional row inwards like this, connecting the red concrete together across the top. We also want to place mangrove planks in front of those connective red concretes and then extend the planks left and right and then down to the ground like this. We can add some black stained glass paint along the insides of the white concrete behind the mangrove, and then we want to place red terracotta here, to the right and up, a red concrete here and to the right of the 2 red terracotta, mangrove planks to the left and right of the concrete / terracotta with mangrove slabs across the top, to give us this. If you are so inclined, you can also place end rods suspended in front of the center glass panes as well to give us some pull door handles. On the 3 remaining sides of the build, we are going to do a very similar thing. We will first of all fill in the empty parts of the side with white concrete. We will then place mangrove planks in front of the rows of white concrete directly inwards from these rows of red concrete. We will then extend the planks up an additional 2 rows, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then extend and connect across the top, add a row of slabs on top of that, and then simply fill this area in with white concrete. And we want to do this on all of the remaining sides. So one last time, let's fill this empty space in with white concrete, add mangrove planks along the walls here next to the red concrete, extend the mangrove up an additional 2 rows, connecting them together at the top with slabs on top of that, and then white concrete on top of that. On the back in particular, you could always add a connective row of red concrete as well, just to kind of differentiate between the two other sides. We then of course want to move on to the final side and do the same thing. Next, we are going to connect all of our rows of mangrove together. We're just going to start off with the bottom row of planks and create right angles between each one of the 4 corners. And whilst I am up here, I'm just going to fill the entire top in with cyan terracotta. On each one of the 4 corners of the build, we are going to place polished deep slate stairs on top of our red concrete, with a layer of polished deep slate slabs along the inside of the top of the stairs, with a final slab on the top, like this. We are then going to extend the red concrete out a row like this, and we will repeat this on every single side. So remember, just 1 set of stairs, and then deep slate slabs, with a final slab in the corner, and then extend the red concrete outwards. You can of course just switch up the order that you do this. Next, we are going to remove a layer of grass all the way around the edge of our jack-in-the-box. Replace it with podzol. And then stick ferns on the podzol. If you have a different flower that you like or different plant, feel free to use it. I'm really on a podzol/fern kick recently. Next, we are going to remove 2 rows in front of our jack-in-the-box, just left to right like this. Let's not question why there may or may not be lava under the ground. That's where the lava is meant to be. We also just want to extend towards the entrance, and maybe it looks better to do this. I'm not sure, it's a very minor detail. We are going to remove the 3 middle rows that correspond with the entrance and extend them towards the edge of the grid. We will then remove all of the grass in front of our smooth stone on both the left and the right side. Then we will place a row of white concrete powder, 3 yellow concrete powder, and white concrete powder, extending the white concrete powder to the edge of the grid with grey concrete powder in between. This will form a car parking space, which we also want to have on this opposite side as well. We will then remove 3 rows all the way around the outside of Jack-in-the-Box. This mainly applies to the right, left and back side of the build, as the front of the build we've kind of run out of room. And we are replacing all of this with cyan terracotta, or your favourite road material of choice. I would always recommend making like drive-through roads and driveways for houses and car parks and stuff, like different grey materials in general though, because they contrast nicely against what I would usually consider like a typical street. I use grey concrete for my streets, so whenever possible I like to shake things up a little bit with the other builds that I have in the city. We are going to place a single layer of terracotta all the way along the outside of the grid. Once again, this is more so on the right, back and left sides of the build. Along the wall, we will remove grass on the front left side, lining up with this pathway, and we will replace said grass with smooth stone. And we will do the same thing on the right side. Over here on the left side we will have an order board, which is just going to be 2 polished black stone wall here and here, black concrete spanned across the 2, extend it up a row, and then we'll just place some paintings, preferably some of the more... there we go, some of the more interpretable painting, shall we say, like this, and this is just kind of like a menu order board. I haven't added this, but you could chuck a speaker box there as well if you'd like. Let's stick some large ferns in the grass against the wall. This extends all the way around. And on the right side here, I'm actually going to add a very small crossing, so where these paths would connect to each other, in the middle just 2 white concretes. Something to think about also is the fact that this is meant to be a drive-through. So the drive-through window, if you choose to have one, would be right here. And we will actually just remove these blocks here, stick maybe, I mean you could just leave it like full on open if you wanted to, but maybe we'll just stick some glass pane here, and then we will just remove these ferns just along the side and replace them with cyan terracotta, or alternatively maybe just like smooth stone, and I think that would that looks pretty good actually. You could highlight it further with like, say, like a lantern or a torch or something like that, but it's not really a big deal. The last thing that we are going to add to the outside of the build is the sign. So unfortunately we can't just straight write Jack in the Box in giant banners because, well, I mean, the build would have to be like, I don't know, 4 times bigger. It kind of defeats the purpose of having a mini city. So instead we're just going to write a J. So to do that we'll throw down Loom, open it up, throw a red banner in there with some white dye, and we are going to apply the base pattern. Throw the red dye in there with the new banner and apply the pale sinister pattern. Put the banner back in with some white dye and apply the pale pattern, and there we have our J. So we are just going to stick the J right up front and center, but if you did want to, like, you could also just use like signs or something like that, or maybe you have like a big J and then use signs and kind of cobble together like a more realistic looking sign, but I think that we can keep it like this. With the entire outside of Jack in the Box made, we are now going to head inside and work on the interior. Step 1, we are going to stick a white concrete right in the middle of this back wall. Extend it left and right and stick a furnace on one side and a blast furnace on the other, with oak trapdoors here and here, brewing stand in the middle, flower pot to the left, item frame to the right. We also want to stick one over here at the order window. We are going to place black concretes here and here with 1x1 paintings in there. They'd preferably all be different, but I'm happy with that little spread of paintings. And we are just going to stick a double chest here in this corner, and in front of this chest we will place a white concrete. That white concrete will extend all the way over to the left side, leaving a gap of 2 between the wall. We will then extend up by 1, 2, extend left like this, and then place a row of white concrete that extends across the top here. We then want to make it so that only the 3 middle rows are visible, so we are just going to fill in this wall like so, and we are also either going to remove and replace these mangroves, or we are just going to add like a ceiling in here, but I think that would be better to keep the ceiling height, so we'll just replace that with white concrete. We then want to place mangrove slabs across the top of the order area here, and then we can add in a bunch of seating. So this looks pretty simple. We have 2 mangrove stairs here, 1, 2, with end rods in front of the stairs, with grey carpet on top of the end rods. We then place mangrove stairs on the opposite side with red terracotta behind the stairs. We then place another row of end rods with mangrove stairs here against this wall. Grey carpet on top of the end rods, and then flower pots on top of the red terracottas with ferns inside of them. We are going to have a similar thing on the opposite side of the build. We will have 2 stairs here placed in this corner with end rods in front of them, grey carpet on top of the end rods with red terracotta in front. We then want to place another row of stairs, end rods with grey carpet on top of the end rods like this. We then want to stick flower pots on top of the red terracotta with ferns inside. I also like having paintings on the wall, kind of like in the middle of the walls. That one is not that one. That one is a nice one in particular, and I'd also like something similar here on this opposite side. You know what? The same one is just fine. Which just leaves us with one little problem, which is kind of like this whole roof section here. So we're going to remove these mangroves, and we'll also have to do a similar thing inside of the kitchen as well. We have to keep these mangroves clearly, otherwise we can see into the outside, but we can actually remove the red concrete and replace it with white concrete, so that does a little bit to help the wall look a little bit nicer. And then we can always place a buffer around the top of this, so we could use mangrove. Actually, mangrove might look nice, so we'll stick mangrove all the way around the edge here, okay? And then we have to see if we can keep the... Oh, we don't have to have these blocks. So what we can do is we can remove these blocks. Oh, no. Okay, so maybe what we've got to do is we can't remove that. I think that we just use polished deep slate slabs to just fill in between all of the stairs. I think that that's about as nice as we can get, but it looks pretty good, honestly. I would have liked the middle of the roof to be a little bit higher, but we can deal with this. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen, that is the tutorial for Jack in the Box 100% fully completed. However, this video is not over. We must now take our Jack in the Box and add it into our city. I think that we are going to stick Jack in the Box in the modern-ish suburbs part of our city. I don't quite know where it ranks in terms of fast food. I don't know if it's good enough to go into the new suburbs, so we're just going to stick it here until we know more about it. And that is that, ladies and gentlemen. I do hope that you have enjoyed this video. Please do remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Click that little bell next to the subscription button to ensure that you get all my videos sent directly to your sub box. If you would like to make anything else by me, please check the description below for the mini city builds playlist. We have over 100 builds in there for you to enjoy. Alternatively, the sidebar, hopefully the next upcoming video, YouTube, or just check the channel. Consider becoming a channel member today and you will gain access to a cool avatar next to your name, some unique emojis, and access to my mini city design world containing every single build that has been added to Mini City to date. This is well over 100 builds, all chronologically ordered. Java edition only. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.